about a way to introduce you to this interview. And I didn't know because there's a lot of things to say about you. But I saw your Twitter account and it said like yesterday, like from now on, I want to be called La Muchacha del Cabello Azul.
Yeah. So I had some fans and they were explaining, because sometimes your parents don't understand the music you listen to. And there are some fans who were explaining to me what their mothers and fathers call me because they don't know. One girl said, and her mother calls me La Muchacha con Cabello Azul, and another said that her mom,
La Gritona.
La Gritona.
You know what La Gritona is?
Yes, so I was like, oh, okay, fair. I'll take it. I do a lot of screaming.
Yeah.
I'm very loud.
I prefer La Gritona for you.
Yeah.
And for all the fans, because, after listening to Nightmare, we all feel that way, I'm angry, I'm tired, and somebody should be. But, after Nightmare, do you feel still like La Gritona, like screaming for more other important things, or you feel just like, I'm relieved I could scream?
Kind of both.
Okay.
Both. So when I perform the song, I feel like, like I got it off my chest, and I watch everyone in the audience scream, and I feel like I did something that I've been waiting to do for so long. But, there's a lot of people, I think, who hear the song and they react like, like, why is she so angry? And that shows me that I have more to say and more to talk about, because there are still so many people who don't understand why a young woman would feel like she needs to be angry right now, I think. So it's kind of like, in a way I feel calm, and in a way I feel like I have a lot more to talk about.
And when I listen to all of your songs and listening to your interviews and just seeing you on Twitter, I know that you're angry, and we all are angry. If you're not watching to the news and you're not angry, you're not paying attention at all.
Exactly.
So what was the most challenging thing for you when you wanted to create Nightmare, like the songwriting, being on studio?
I think it was really hard trying to find a way to say everything I wanted to say that didn't feel like I was complaining, but instead felt like, because sometimes people will complain or they'll have an issue, but they'll have no solution. Yes. They'll just say why everything's bad and not say how we can make it better. So I was trying to think of how I can make a song that shows people some of the things that I think are wrong, but also shows us how we can act against it. Yeah. So that was kind of difficult. It's also like it's a very complicated subject to make into like a fun radio song.
Yeah.
So I wanted to trick people kind of, where maybe the first time you hear it, you're just like rocking out and you think it's cool. And then the second time you hear it, you're like, oh, and you hear some of the words, and then the third time you hear it, you're like, oh, like when you really hear some of it. So it was kind of like, that was the hardest part.
I saw the behind the scenes, and it's like a lot of what you're saying, because you say to the behind the scenes of Nightmare, you say to the girls, come on girls, you're not cheerleaders, you're angry. And I love the Debbie Harry surprise. It was amazing.
It was so
cool. To me, it was like awesome to see you with the little girls screaming. And I was thinking about little Halsey. Like, when you wanted to scream and make songs, like, can you recall the first show or the first video you saw that you said, I want to be on stage doing that. I want to be kind of a rock star?
Well, I kind of have always wanted to be on stage. I really loved Avril Lavigne when I was little, like so much. Like I'd jump around on my, like a lot. Like she was just so different, and she was kind of like the person who like made me not want to be the same way that every other girl I knew was, but also showed me that like it was okay for like me to want to be different, but also like if a girl wants to be like in a dress or in high heels or be a cheerleader, like that's okay because that's her choice. You know what I mean? But for me, I was like in my apartment, like with my parents, like jumping on the couch to Skater Boy with like my dad's tie from work, you know what I mean, like around my neck, and I was like, I'm gonna learn how to skateboard. I was really bad at it, but I said I was gonna learn anyway.
So you didn't skate at all?
A little bit. I did growing up. I got into it when I was a little bit older, but when I was that young, it was a disaster.
Okay.
But she just like, it was something so different at the time for me, and especially coming out as a child of like the 90s, where like everything was so polished and perfect, and every female star was like, she was hiding all her scandals and like everything was perfect and she never did anything wrong, and like, Avril was kind of like, she was like kind of bratty, she had like an attitude, she didn't always dress like perfectly sexy and stuff, and I just
she was comfortable.
Yeah, and I was just like, wow, that is exactly what I've been looking for. So I think about her a lot, especially with something like Nightmare when we were working with the young girls. Yeah. Because when we were filming that scene, there was like 8 young girls between the age of like, I think like 9 years old and like 12 years old, or maybe even younger. And I just wanted them to feel excited, and I wanted them to feel like they were doing something important, and if they left the set, you know, I maybe wanted them to go home and think like, wow, like I just did this music video, and I just did it with this girl who wanted me to be mad and stand up for myself, and like maybe that'll stay with them, you know, for the rest of their life.
Okay. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, I hope so.
Talking about this little Halsey and all these memories, we have a fan question made by Luisa Fernanda. She wants to know what would you say to Halsey from the past before she was famous?
Ooh, I would say not to let other people's criticisms make you want to change yourself. And that if people don't get it now, eventually they will. Because I think, like, for me, there's a lot of stuff that people didn't like or didn't understand about me. And it would have been really easy for me to be like, okay, well then I'm not going to do that anymore. But I just kept doing it and kept doing it. And now, you know, with a song like Nightmare, there's a lot of people who are like, we love this song. And I think maybe it's something I would have been scared to do before, because I would have been too afraid what people would think.
Okay.
But now I don't care, you know?
Okay, and I mean, I want to know if you really don't care about, this year has been great for you, like, you know, BTS, well, the past year Without Me, Nightmare, it's just like on top of the all charts.
Yeah.
It sets pressure for the next album, like to make hit after hit after hit?
Sometimes it does. I think Nightmare was a big turning point there, because after Without Me, you know, that was the biggest song of my career, like as a solo artist, and I think a lot of people would have expected me to do something kind of the same, you know, just to try to get success and try to get more number ones and more like this kind of stuff. And I knew that I had to do something. I knew that Without Me made a lot of people pay attention to me.
Yes.
And so because I had all those people paying attention to me, I knew I had to say something important. Because if you don't use your platform, you're wasting it.
Yes.
And if you only make things to help yourself, then you're kind of abusing your power. You know what I mean? You need to like think about helping other people. And that was the big thing with Nightmares. I was kind of nervous when I first made it, especially, you know, with the radio stations and stuff. I was like, okay, I have a song, and they were like, cool, another pop song, and I was like, no,
not at all.
Not really. But the most amazing thing about it, I think, is how supportive everyone has been. You know, they're still playing it on the radio, and I'm getting to perform it on TV and like do all this stuff. So I think it was a risk that paid off. Yeah. Because people are standing behind me.
And it's what you're saying, this evolution is not all glittery and girly, and you're angry, and we see this evolution. I know you keep a journal, and you're right whenever you feel you're changing. So which is the last thing you learn about yourself?
Ooh, I wrote something last night where I was writing about how I feel like I need to feel more comfortable speaking as myself in interviews. I think sometimes when you have like a camera or someone in front of you and you know there's a bunch of people watching, you can get a bit like, hello, hi, yes, and it's not because you're being fake, it's because you're like nervous or like, you know, you're just like, everyone's looking at you. And so I've just wrote something last night kind of saying like, I want more people to know me as the real me. Yeah. You know, me as like maybe a little bit more calm and comfortable and like stupid and embarrassing and like, because that's how I am, and that's how I want people to know me, not as like Halsey, who is smiling and perfect and everything is good. You know, sometimes I'm like this instead. Yeah. You know, so I've just tried to relax a little bit.
Do you get the goosebumps whenever you write about yourself? Like, am I showing too much of myself? Am I showing too much of me being vulnerable?
I think sometimes I will look at things I write and I'll be like, whoa, didn't know I had all that stuff hiding in my brain. You know, like I'll write a lyric like Nightmare. Like I wrote, I've pinched my skin in between my two fingers and wished I could cut some parts off with some scissors. And I don't talk, it's not something I was thinking about. Like, I wasn't like, oh, like I have a problem with my body, or like I feel pressure to look a certain way. But when that lyric came out of me, it made me realize how I do struggle with that.
Yes.
It made it more apparent to me. So it kind of helped me like address that and fix it and give it the attention that it needed, because I had kind of been burying it until it came out in the lyric, and then I went, whoa, we gotta fix that. You're not allowed to feel that way. That's bad,
Yeah. But you show a lot of yourself on Twitter, and you laugh, and then you're sad.
Yeah.
So I have this little quick game that it's called
Okay.
Once Upon a Tweet.
Oh no.
With Halsey.
I'm scared.
Okay, so don't worry. This is nice from June 15th. We're gonna show that on screen. This is you playing the violin and the Evanescence shirt and everything.
Oh.
What was happening? Why you decided to share this photo? It's amazing.
So I just got an award for the Songwriters Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And when I was on stage, I was telling this story about how I wanted to play violin when I was a kid. And my dad we did not have a lot of money. And my dad was like, we're not going to buy her the violin. She's not going to use it. She's going to play it for one day and then put it down. And my mom really stood up for me. And she was like, no, like if she loves music, we need to give her this. Like, we need to encourage her to express herself. And they got me the violin, so I wanted to post a photo to prove that I did play it in that.
And the shirt and the glasses and, and everything.
It was a whole thing. I still dress like this. I still wear the plaid pants and the band tee. No glasses.
When you're home?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so you ready for the next Once Upon a Tweet? Me to my managers at 11 p.m. Like, come on, leave me alone, I need to sleep.
Yeah.
And then 4 in the morning, you're alone with a lot of ideas.
And then want to
This happens a lot? This happens a lot?
Would you say it happens a lot? It happens a lot. I would be like, listen, I need to go to sleep early. If you need to talk to me about something, talk to me in the morning. I have to go to bed.
Yeah.
And then I'll be laying in my bed at like 3 in the morning and have an idea. And I'll want to text my managers, but no, I told them to leave me alone, so I'll look stupid if I start bothering them. And then I'm just like, ooh. And then I always cave and then text them, and I'm like, I have this crazy idea. I want to do a water park themed whatever. And then the next morning they wake up and they're like, hey Ash, so you didn't go to sleep, did you? And I'm like, no.
And you feel like little SpongeBob alone. Like oh. Okay, you ready for the next one? Yeah. I know you can't say much, but it's about the next album. It's from March.
Oh.
Writing this album has been a lesson.
I'm forgiving myself and being proud of myself and kind to myself despite how much this world is designed to make you hate yourself. I hope when it's finally in your hands, it brings you that same peace. It's not a quiet peace, it's a loud one. I feel like that was pretty on point about Nightmare. It was loud peace, as you feel like people are going through the same things as you, and you feel like everyone is in the battle together, and it's peaceful, but it's loud. It's not like quiet peace,
Okay.
Yeah.
And I know you can't say much about the album. It's still in the process. Yeah. But I mean, let's talk about this past 2 years. If you could put, this is hard. If you could put just two moments, personal, on studio, on stage, that you could put in a time capsule that you could, keep forever. What would that be? One moment, maybe.
That's hard. There's so many. I think I did 2 shows in New York, and I played a venue that I used to go to when I was a little kid. Okay. And it was the first venue that I really played in New York.
Which was the venue? Sorry.
Webster Hall.
Okay.
And I did one night where I played Badlands in full, and I did one night where I played Hopeless Fountain Kingdom in full. Mm-hmm. And I make a concept album, so you're supposed to listen to them the first time at least, you're supposed to listen to them top to bottom, because it's a story. Yep. It's like watching a movie. And then you pick your favorites and the songs that speak to you. But when I got to perform the albums in their entirety, I felt so proud of myself, because I was playing an album that's 40 years old, and everyone's in the audience just screaming like it's brand new and it just came out. And I'm watching the story unfold, and I'm thinking about how I've grown. And I kind of just felt like, wow, I made something really cool. And I'm really proud of it, and it means a lot to these people. And it was just like, whew, and it was in New York, and it was just so many emotions,
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Thank you, Halsey. And just it's not like I want to know your response, but you to remember, It's from February 9.
Tomorrow is gonna be so wow.
For you.
What was I? Was that about Webster? No. What was that about?
February 9th?
Yeah. SNL! Saturday Night Live. That's what that was about.
But maybe you can use this one like for today and for tomorrow and for tomorrow. So
I'm gonna have to
remember,
retweet that one.
Tomorrow is gonna be so well for you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Of course.
Halsey.
Thanks for asking great questions.
Thank you. Halsey en Alfa 91.3, donde todo nace.
Hey Mexico, it's Halsey, and you're listening to Alfa Radio 91.3, the best radio station in Mexico.